brand new, and we immediately wrote up a paper for an astrophysical journal, and it's now a published part of astronomers' knowledge of what the outer part of our solar system looks like.
On top of charting the dynamics of the solar system, the show looks out at the broader Milky Way and beyond. Carter Emmart is the show's director, as well as director of astrovisualization at the wider American Museum of Natural History. He says the show aims to deliver on the scientific front, while also reminding audiences of their connection to the cosmos.
You can look out at the stars, and you're looking back into time, and you're looking back into the times of lives. You're looking at light that's arriving from different epochs and different periods, and you can say, you know, a deceased relative or what have you. You're seeing light that really is still part of their time. That's where it gets kind of spiritual. And, you know, and that's real. And that's, you know, it's what I think holds us together in a way.
Encounters in the Milky Way debuts at the Hayden Planetarium on June 9th.
Bangladeshi cattle farmers and ranchers are stepping up to meet the country's growing demand for beef, particularly ahead of Eid al-Adha. The drive is fueled by a decline in Indian cattle imports due to strict controls. To meet this year's Eid demand alone, Bangladesh will need more than 10 million cattle. Eid, which involves the religious sacrifice of livestock, typically drives a sharp increase in demand each year. Zakaria Ahmed has a cattle ranch.
I used to work in government construction. I felt there were better growth opportunities in this sector, so I decided to do it. Also, cows are no longer coming from India, so we are working with new breeds. We now have our own production. We saw opportunities here, and that's why we got involved in this sector.
While Indian cattle once met a significant share of the demand, trade restrictions have led to a dramatic decline in foreign cattle. But it's also created opportunities for local entrepreneurs. Abdul Rob is a cattle farmer.
The halt in the import of Indian cattle has been a blessing for us because our money now stays within the country. Huge cash would go to India, especially during Eid al-Adha. That outflow of money created a shortfall for our government.
According to official estimates, over 12 million locally bred cattle have already been prepared for this year's Eid market, a surplus that's ensured stable prices across livestock markets in the country.
Procter & Gamble announced on Thursday that it will cut 7,000 jobs over the next 2 years, fueled in part by U.S. tariffs that have roiled numerous consumer companies. The job cuts at Procter & Gamble, the world's largest consumer goods company, amount to about 6% of its workforce. Executives characterize the layoffs as part of the company's ongoing strategy. Procter & Gamble also plans to exit some product categories and brands in certain markets as part of a broader 2-year restructuring plan. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on trading partners have shaken global markets and sparked concerns of a recession in the United States. Procter & Gamble on Thursday estimated it would take a tariff hit of $600 million before taxes in its fiscal year 2026 based on current tariff rates. Overall, the trade war has cost companies at least $34 billion in lost sales and higher costs, according to a Reuters analysis. P&G has said it would raise prices on some products, adding it's prepared to, quote, pull every lever in its arsenal to mitigate the impact of tariffs, primarily through higher prices and cost cutting. Shares of Procter & Gamble fell about 2% on Thursday.
On this Monday morning, we are looking at thunderstorms, rain likely, locally heavy at times, potential for severe thunderstorms with temperatures today in the low 70s. Rain showers this evening with overcast skies overnight and lows in the upper 50s. We'll go through the complete 5-day forecast coming up here after the top of the hour news. It is a Monday morning, the 9th day of June, and busy weekend. A lot of great things took place over the weekend. Graduation.
Yeah, lots of
congratulations to all those who graduated last week. There's, I think, some that trickle into this week a little bit. You get just north of us into New York, and they still have a couple weeks left of school. So, like Clymer and, schools like that. Yeah. Could you imagine going like almost halfway through June before you're done?
Yeah, that's a little...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, they don't go back until into September, I think, after Labor Day weekend, but still. Hey, this morning we've got Neil Freitas from the city of Titusville. Also this morning, financial guru Gary Glunt will be with us. So looking forward to our Monday guests. Tomorrow on the program, it's going to be quite busy. We've got our friends from the Meadville Free Clinic joining us. Joe Tech will be joining us tomorrow, and Dr. Stephanie Feely, I believe, tomorrow is scheduled to be with us. So, yeah, that's Tuesday on the program. Don't want to get too far ahead, though. There's still a lot going on this Monday, and got a lot to get to. If you're just joining us here this morning, we've got your headlines coming up. We'll also showcase a sports report, and we'll let you know what's going on Wall Street. So much happening this morning. Your headlines are coming up next, and we'll go through that 5-day forecast.
Sounds good.
Each and every day. Let you know exactly what's happening there. Glad you're with us here on a Monday. This is the Morning Drill. Catching us on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel, maybe on our YouTube channel or the EXP Stream part of your cable package. Maybe it's on our Facebook page. We're streaming on the Morning Drill Facebook page this morning.
Oh, my gosh.
The US and China are set for a new round of trade talks Monday in London. Washington's team will feature Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China says Vice Premier He Lifeng will be in the UK capital for the whole week. Posting on social media, Donald Trump said the meeting should go very well. Last week he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking a rare leader-to-leader call. The discussion didn't produce any obvious breakthrough, but the pair agreed to visit each other in the future. Both countries face pressure to strike a deal, with the trade war sparking widespread concern for global growth. US firms have also been alarmed by Chinese curbs on shipments of rare earth minerals, which are vital to car makers and other sectors. Meanwhile, companies in China face US restrictions on the supply of key goods, including chip design software and parts for nuclear power plants. In May, the two sides did agree to a 90-day deal to ease some of the tit-for-tat tariffs they had imposed on each other. However, the truce has sometimes looked fragile, with Trump at times accusing Beijing of violating its terms. The deal also failed to address broader sources of tension, including US accusations that China permits the illicit flow of fentanyl across its borders.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks closed higher on Friday, with the Dow and S&P 500 gaining 1% and the Nasdaq climbing 1.2%. The S&P 500 closed above 6,000 for the first time since February 21st. A better-than-expected jobs report calmed worries about the economy, with non-farm payrolls increasing by 139,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate stood at 4.2%, in line with expectations. Alexander Morris is CEO of FM Investments.
I think anyone in the stock markets today is enjoying what was a pretty solid jobs number, particularly on the back of a weak ADP job print, and then some reasonable but not out of line revisions, followed by some aspirations that, although the Federal Reserve clearly isn't coming to the rescue tomorrow, it does look like we're on target for some rate cuts in 2025.
Following the report, traders maintained their view that the first Fed rate cut would likely come in September, with one more cut in view by December. Stocks on the move Friday included Tesla, which rose nearly 4% after plunging about 15% on Thursday during CEO Elon Musk's public feud with President Trump over the tax cut and spending bill. Other megacaps also advanced, including Amazon and Alphabet, which gained about 3% each. Broadcom shares fell 5% after the networking and custom AI chip maker's quarterly revenue forecast failed to impress investors. And shares of Lululemon slumped almost 20% as the sportswear maker cut its annual profit target, citing higher costs from Trump's tariffs.
All right, let's go through the 5 days here, starting with your Monday. Thunderstorms likely today. Rainfall will be locally heavy at times, potential for severe thunderstorms. And highs today in the low 70s. Rain showers this evening, overcast skies overnight with lows in the upper 50s. Tuesday, partly cloudy, low 70s. Wednesday, we warm up into the 80s with sunshine. Thursday, partly cloudy, upper 70s. Friday, isolated thunderstorms with temperatures in the mid-70s. Area temperatures this morning, Meadville checking in at 60 degrees, Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 60, Titusville 61, Franklin this morning 61, Oil City 61 degrees here at 710. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Happy Monday. It's the start of a brand new week. Thanks for starting your day with Luke and Amy on the Morning Drill.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Glad you're with us here this morning. Start of a brand new week. It's always exciting, right? June 9th. Ugh. Yeah, June 9th. Mentioned graduation taking place here locally. A lot of schools last week. I think some Wednesday, some Thursday, some Friday, but a lot of kids kicking off the weekend being done, getting ready for the next phase of their lives.
Crazy.
I was thinking we covered the one locally on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through, 2 graduations of our own in the last couple years.
Yeah.
And most recent, last year.
Yeah.
And I was just like a flood of just trying to remember everything that went on. Because we did the baccalaureate thing, graduation,
and
planning the graduation party.
The party, yeah. In both instances, we did the party the day after the graduation. I mean, we had people in town for the graduation itself. Mm-hmm. So let's just take advantage of that. Yeah, and get our summer started. I think last year you unfortunately missed the banquets. The week before, so you were out of town, and
yeah.
I love that you cover, because you do such a great job, the ceremonies. But selfishly, it really sucks for me that you're not.
Oh, for our kids.
For our kids, going through it, sitting there and going through the whole thing.
Oh, but I can hear you.
Yeah, that's not the point.
Oh, okay.
Not the point.
I don't know what it is. This sense of, because of what we do, we know a lot of the kids and the families.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, there's pride. There's, the sense of they're going to go out in the world. What mark, can they make on the world? And, that'll last for a couple days. And then it's like, okay, the world takes over.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't
know.
Be a Debbie Downer with all that, but I just, yeah, you know, you see everybody, they're so excited, and I'm gonna take on the world. It's like, yeah, you go do that. I'm not gonna slow you down. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Speed bump.
Yeah. Because you think one thing, and then
yeah,
life.
I don't know. It's just and our kids will tell you it's like a contrast from what you think, it's going to be to what you step into. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially you've got parents who, kids are raised by so many different people today.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to pigeonhole anybody.
No.
Whether it's your parents or grandparents or a friend that brought you up. That's great. There's a lot of protection sometimes there. Sometimes there's not. You got kids that fall through the cracks, and you hate to see that.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a little dose of reality compared to others who are going to go off. And who was I talking to last week? Or maybe just the other day, asking how the first year was, and a lot of kids, it's an adjustment if they're going off to school or the trades or into the workforce. The responsibility is just, okay, you need to be here at this time, and this is what you need to do. There's no
safety net.
No, and that's where I kind of get upset sometimes with education is, the flexibility there. And we just talking to a teacher the other night. We were on the porch and kind of talked a little bit about this.
We come from a different era, and I feel like there was a lot more respect for teachers from the parents and the students. It's going to be that way in life. You might not agree with what your teacher says or how they deliver it or their views or
your
whatever.
Boss when you're in the workforce.
But no, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You might not agree with that, but at that time you were in school and you respect them. You don't have to agree with them. You simply have to respect them. They're there to teach you. That's it, black and white. When you go into the workforce, that teacher becomes your boss. And again, you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to, take their side for everything. But they're your boss and you have to respect them. So it goes from, when your kid's in school and they come home and they're complaining about their teacher, teach them how to respect them and not, you don't have to agree with them, but you do have to respect them because that will in turn translate into their boss. And it's a nightmare going from one to the next. Yeah. I get it. Like I was in school, there were teachers that were like, oh, you can sit back and make fun of them now, but you respect them. You listen to them, you absorb the good that they're giving you, you learn the subject that they're teaching you, and then you remember that's not the human being I want to be. Fine. But you're going to have a boss, and you're going to have that same feeling, and your mom's not going to be able to call your guidance counselor and complain, or your principal and complain. It's your boss.
Have you ever gotten a call from a parent of an employee?
No.
You're not allowed to say it.
No, I haven't, but I'm just saying. I'm saying, like, the kids we have right now,
Right.
Johnny said, you sent me a video. It's so funny. But there's, like, such an element of truth to that it's terrifying. Like the video of...
Oh, the math?
The 2 + 2 = 4. No, it equals 22.
Yes.
How could you tell my son he's wrong? He's not wrong.
Well,
he's entitled to his own opinion. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
There's opinion, and then there's math.
Well, then the video, the teacher brings the kid in and says, okay, hey, do you need help with your math? And he's like, no, why? Well, because here, you got this wrong, 2 + 2, you put 22. He goes, yeah. Well, that's not the right answer. Yes, it is. It's 22. So the kid doesn't listen. So the teacher brings in the parents, and the parents sit down and say, yeah, we have a slight problem. Your son isn't grasping, math. For example, here's this problem. 2 + 2 is 4. And the dad's like, what's the problem? Well, don't you see he got it wrong?
He's did he really?
Did he really? Yeah. isn't 2 plus 2?
Maybe you're wrong.
22. Maybe you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the video, the teacher ends up getting fired because the principal comes in and
He holds a press conference and to prove her wrong. And he's like, okay, so we're letting you go so you understand, you get your current paycheck of $2,000 and your next paycheck of $2,000 as your severance. So that's $4,000. And she's like, no, really, I think it's 22. So it's hilarious, but it's scary.
Yes.
Yeah. And I get it. I mean, everybody is entitled to grow into their own opinion, but there's also opinion and there's facts. 2 plus 2 is 4. Period. The end. Ta-da. Like, there's no negotiating around that. We tried that, didn't we, with Common Core math or whatever that crap was called. But it just hits home because I don't know. I use my own mother as an example. I got detention in middle school. My friend was talking to me. She asked
You
me
did?
I did.
Not Elaine.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain the other detentions I got. I'm just going to give you the easy,
more than
basic one. Yeah. So my friend asked me for chapstick, and I handed her chapstick. We got wrapped upside the head, and we both got detention for talking in, it's like study hall or whatever it was. Anyways, I go home. I have to tell my mom I have detention tomorrow after school. Well, why? Well, Katie asked me for chapstick, and I handed it to her. We got wrapped upside the head, and she's just like, "So you were talking you're in study hall?" No, I just handed her chapstick. She goes, "Mm-hmm." And I said, "It's not my fault." Of course, it's not my fault. It's never my fault, right? When you're that age, it's never your fault because your mom's about to yell at you and her face is turning red. She's like, well, "Maybe you should sit next to somebody else in study hall. It's your fault. You'll take your punishment and learn. Like next time, just ignore her." Okay. That was it. There was no questions. It wasn't a call to the teacher. My poor child didn't say anything.
Yeah, I could see you doing more than just handing chapstick over.
I know, right? But
Little Amy was not a...
And we're parents. If we get a call, it's not our poor kids. It's God, Lord. They're our kids. We know. Oh, gosh, we know. What'd they do now? It's never not their fault. There's always some element in there. Oh, you can, maybe our son got hit one time. Okay, what came out of his mouth to provoke somebody to hit him? Really, it all started with him. We know. He's our child. What came out of his mouth? Sorry. Okay, I'm done. Rant over. Do you want to do birthdays now?
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
Okay, great.
I'm kind of afraid. All right, we'll get into birthdays. Today's the 9th day of June.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Actor Michael J. Fox is 64.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Johnny Depp is 62. I know. This is a good birthday day. Actress Natalie Portman is 44. Actress Mae Whitman is 37. Her.
What?
Her. Come on, do you know who Mae Whitman is?
Was she in Arrested Development?
Her. Yes. She's her.
Oh, she's Annabelle. Or
Annabelle.
Is that her name?
Is that
Belle?
a doll? No. Anne. Okay.
Yeah, little Annabelle. She's the belle of the ball, as Michael would say.
All right.
How old is she?
37.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's all.
That's it.
That's it.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. What do you need more than?
No, happy birthday to you if today happens to be your birthday from all of us. We should have said, hey, if you're watching us on Facebook this morning and you know somebody celebrating a birthday, Amy will say hi to them. You can just post in a comment on the video of who you want Amy to say happy birthday to.
Okay, we can start it tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. Okay. It's on the Morning Drill Facebook page. So go over to Facebook and like us there, the Morning Drill Facebook page. Just search the Morning Drill. I thought there was something else I was going to add to that. But all right, happy birthday to you if today happens to be your birthday from all of us here today. Let's turn our attention to what it is we're celebrating on this 9th day of June.
All right. Today is Donald Duck Day.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I love Donald Duck.
I know, me too. He's awesome. Not even close.
I know. Sorry.
Not even close. All right. Oh my Lord, would you just stop? Are you done? Eat Flexitarian Day. I have no idea what that means. Filipino Chinese Friendship Day, Holy Spirit Monday, International Dark and Stormy Day, National
That might be today, right?
Right.
Not yet, but
It's coming.
yeah.
National Heroes Day in Uganda, National Crew of Tux Day, National Meal Prep Day, National Mitchell Day, National No Apologies Period Day, National Strawberry Rhubarb Pie Day, Team Green Britain Bike Week, Wit Monday, Love Your Burial Ground Week, Meet a Mate Week, National Automotive Service Professional Week. Thank you for saving my arse multiple times. National Email Week, National Little League Week, National Men's Health Week, National Pet Wedding Week. What? National Right of Way Professionals Week, Vision Rehabilitation Week. And that's all. That's all I got. As you ignore me. It's Pet Wedding Week. Yeah. Our dog's not getting married. He's a little too selfish. Sorry. I don't know where he gets that from.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's not very nice.
I maybe
this week is. I heard Jim Nance say this during golf last night. Like Father's Day week.
Yeah.
So I think he was trying to extend it from a day to a week.
I didn't get a week. I got 2 days.
I know,
I
but
can't complain.
what he meant was this is the week leading up to
Okay.
Father's Day. By the way, you mentioned the severe weather day or whatever today.
Yeah. Dark and stormy day.
Dark and stormy day.
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw the weather like Pittsburgh yesterday. A couple tornado warnings.
Oh my.
Like Allegheny County.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's some major storms that are rolling through the region. Here's a live shot of Pittsburgh this morning.
A little foggy there.
Yeah, about 61 degrees or so. Yeah, just be ready because that forecast for today here in northwest Pennsylvania, we're looking at thunderstorms, likely rainfall, locally heavy at times, potential for severe thunderstorms, and low 70s. Rain showers this evening, overcast skies overnight with lows in the upper 50s. So that is what we're looking at here for your forecast for today. We will get back into the 80s on Wednesday. And then really the rest of June's not too bad. Low to mid to upper 70s. I don't see 80 on here anytime past this Wednesday. But, yeah, certainly a nice weekend to get out. Took a nice little ride. It was a real quick ride Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Nothing. Nothing. We talked ourselves into those pretzels, and we never ate them.
Well,
they're in the freezer.
We got one to go
Yeah.
that we ate.
Maybe that'll be dinner.
And
some
ice
night
cream. That was
this week.
Ice cream was good.
That was good. That was very good. Yeah.
I don't know. We when it's like hot and humid and stuff. Like I know you've been kind of trying to plan out dinner for the week, but
Yeah.
there's just some things that don't sound good. Like that sound better when it's cold
Yeah.
or rainy or whatever. But
No, I think
summer food is, it just hits different.
we did turkey clubs
Oh,
Friday.
and that was kind of refreshing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not trying to do anything heavy. Yesterday was like, I had a lot of laundry and I didn't want to like make a huge feast.
Yeah, but I helped select.
But you did. You did. You picked a nice crock pot meal that you guys could eat and life was good. It was easy.
People do these with the cold water plunges.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because there'll be a study that comes out and says, here's why that's good for you. The study that comes out and says, here's why it really doesn't do a lot. But does modern science support the idea that it boosts immunity? Well, the answer is it's complicated. While cold water immersion does activate the body, That's not the same as strengthening the immune system. When you immerse yourself in cold water, your body undergoes the cold shock response. You get rapid breathing, a spike in heart rate, and a surge of stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. This may explain why people feel more alert or energized after a cold dip, but does it mean you're less likely to get sick? Many studies into the effects focus on immune cell activity in the blood, which can increase after cold exposure, but that doesn't always translate into fewer infections. So, and they say it's easy to cherry pick results, but yeah, it's also one of those things where it doesn't necessarily hurt you, so whatever. But you might want to do some more research if you're into that. I know when it's hot, sometimes it's very refreshing to just jump in the cold shower.
Oh yeah.
Especially if it's like really hot and humid,
muggy, and
yeah. And I think there's been times where you haven't felt well. It's like, hey, just take a cold shower and
yeah,
like your body just sort of resets. Yeah,
we all know how much I love heat.
Not at all.
Nope.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
All right. We're coming up on 7:30 here this morning. We will bring you the latest headlines. Still to come, Neil Freitas from the city of Titusville. Gary Glunt, your finance guru, will be here. Looking forward to catching up with our guests here on this Monday. There's our live shot of Pittsburgh here this morning.
Pittsburgh.
Happy Monday.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Go for
Mr. Rogers'
for Manny
neighborhood.
Brothers sandwich, pierogies. Watch some Mr. Rogers. Sure, why
There we
not,
go.
right?
The US and China are set for a new round of trade talks Monday in London. Washington's team will feature Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China says Vice Premier He Li-feng will be in the UK capital for the whole week. Posting on social media, Donald Trump said the meeting should go very well. Last week he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking a rare leader-to-leader call. The discussion didn't produce any obvious breakthrough, but the pair agreed to visit each other in the future. Both countries face pressure to strike a deal, with the trade war sparking widespread concern for global growth. US firms have also been alarmed by Chinese curbs on shipments of rare earth minerals, which are vital to car makers and other sectors. Meanwhile, companies in China face US restrictions on the supply of key goods, including chip design software and parts for nuclear power plants. In May, the two sides did agree to a 90-day deal to ease some of the tit-for-tat tariffs they had imposed on each other. However, the truce has sometimes looked fragile, with Trump at times accusing Beijing of violating its terms. The deal also failed to address broader sources of tension, including US accusations that China permits the illicit flow of fentanyl across its borders.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today, because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place. And now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
This Memorial Day, Community Chevrolet honors those who fought to save the freedoms we enjoy today. And the least we can do is save you more than $9,000 off America's favorite truck, the Silverado.
You have my undivided attention. Ooh, I smell hot dogs.
You can also save more than $5,000 off the Silverado 2500 and more than $2,000 off the 2025 Colorado.
I may be colorblind, but these deals seem red, white, and true.
Community Chevy's Memorial Day sale only during Military Appreciation Month at Community Chevrolet.
U.S. stocks closed higher on Friday, with the Dow and S&P 500 gaining 1% and the Nasdaq climbing 1.2%. The S&P 500 closed above 6,000 for the first time since February 21st. A better-than-expected jobs report calmed worries about the economy, with non-farm payrolls increasing by 139,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate stood at 4.2%, in line with expectations. Alexander Morris is CEO of FM Investments.
I think anyone in the stock markets today is enjoying what was a pretty solid jobs number, particularly on the back of a weak ADP job print, and then some reasonable but not out of line revisions, followed by some aspirations that, although the Federal Reserve clearly isn't coming to the rescue tomorrow, it does look like we're on target for some rate cuts in 2025.
Following the report, traders maintained their view that the first Fed rate cut would likely come in September, with one more cut in view by December. Stocks on the move Friday included Tesla, which rose nearly 4% after plunging about 15% on Thursday during CEO Elon Musk's public feud with President Trump over the tax cut and spending bill. Other megacaps also advanced, including Amazon and Alphabet, which gained about 3% each. Broadcom shares fell 5% after the networking and custom AI chip maker's quarterly revenue forecast failed to impress investors. And shares of Lululemon slumped almost 20% as the sportswear maker cut its annual profit target, citing higher costs from Trump's tariffs. U.S. job growth cooled in May amid uncertainty about President Trump's tariffs, according to a closely watched report out Friday from the Labor Department. Non-farm payrolls increased by 139,000 in May, more than economists had expected, but reflecting ebbing momentum from the prior months. That was underscored by sharp downward revisions to both March and April's job gains. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.2% for the third consecutive month because more than 600,000 people dropped out of the labor force, suggesting a lack of confidence in the job market. Economists say Trump's flip-flopping on import tariffs has hampered businesses' ability to plan ahead and hire more workers. Opposition to Trump's tax cut and spending bill from conservative Republicans in the U.S. Senate and tech billionaire Elon Musk has added another layer of uncertainty for companies. Still, the report did have a silver lining as average hourly earnings increased 0.4%, double April's amount. Solid wage growth should keep U.S. economic expansion on track and could lead the Federal Reserve to delay further cuts in interest rates. U.S. stocks opened higher after the report's release.
Elon Musk has proven to be resilient, if nothing else, in his role in leading Tesla and a variety of related companies. Despite much press discussing many unsavory parts of his life, he has certainly survived and even earned the respect of shareholders enough to fight to give him the largest ever pay package, and when denied, to change venues and fight again. I think it would be almost impossible to remove Elon Musk from Tesla or the Boring Company or any of the other companies that he looks after. And investors who disliked his behavior or disliked his participation in government probably already sold the stock. The folks who remain are probably more loyal fans than were on average a year ago. And there's been a lot of great things to say for Tesla stock. It has been volatile, but it has generated substantial returns. And Tesla cars 10 years ago were thin on streets across America, and now you won't find a single street without at least one. And I think Elon Musk earns a lot of respect from investors for having done that. Whether or not he's able to return the stock to some of its heights and its ability to continue to grow will yet to be seen, but certainly not dedicating his time to government certainly will give him more time at Tesla, SpaceX, and a handful of other companies that seem to benefit from his presence. As we dive into the jobs print today, we'll see a few things. One, it is true, there is some slowing of hiring rates that have happened, but we did expect that given all of the tariff turmoil and just in general, the lack of ability for hiring managers to plan what's going to happen. But in light of all of that, and in light of prior much sharper revisions in numbers, I think the jobs number has shown that the economy remains resilient. Let's not forget those numbers aren't capped by zero. There could be net jobs losses. We could see wages actually going down precipitously, not going up, and many other signs of stagflation and worse deflation that we were worried about just 6-8 weeks ago. But now that seems to have been largely avoided, and adding jobs at a rate of almost 1.3 million per year and above is still a pretty healthy economy, all things considered.
Tesla shares clawed back from steep losses on Friday. Investors had fled the stock after a war of words between Tesla CEO Elon Musk and US President Donald Trump. But the fallout appeared to cool amid reports White House aides were scheduling a call to help broker peace. Shares were up 5% in pre-market trading after Musk signalled on X he was open to easing tensions with Trump. The argument raised more than $150 billion from Tesla's market value on Thursday and marked the company's biggest drop in one session. Data showed short sellers scored nearly $4 billion from the drop, the second biggest single day of profit on record. Tensions escalated after Musk stepped up criticism of Trump's sweeping tax and spending bill. The bill proposes largely ending the popular $7,500 EV tax incentive by the end of this year. Trump responded by suggesting cuts to the government's contracts with Musk's companies, including rocket maker SpaceX. An open clash with Trump could pose multiple hurdles for Tesla and the rest of Musk's business empire. The US Transportation Department regulates vehicle design standards. It would have a big say in whether Tesla can mass-produce robo-taxis without pedals and steering wheels. Tesla stock is down just under 30% this year after a 14% drop on Thursday. The shares have been on a turbulent ride since last July when Musk backed Trump's White House bid. They surged initially as investors bet on less regulatory pressure for robo-taxis, but tumbled due to soft sales and brand fallout from Musk's political stance. From a very public falling out to a long-awaited debut, this is the week in numbers. 14% was the plunge in Tesla shares after boss Elon Musk had a fight with Donald Trump. The pair fought an escalating battle on social media, sparked by the billionaire's criticism of the president's tax and spending plans. It ended with Trump rattling investors by threatening to cancel government contracts for Musk's firms. About $22 billion is the value of government contracts at risk for SpaceX if Trump goes through with his threat. The rocket firm has become the dominant player in public and private space launches. But cutting ties with SpaceX could put NASA in a tough spot, with the space agency dependent on Musk's company for rides to the International Space Station. 0.25 percentage point was the cut to rates by the European Central Bank. That took its total reductions to 2 percentage points since last June. Bank chief Christine Lagarde said the outlook for inflation was more uncertain than ever.
This could be reinforced if higher tariffs led to lower demand for euro area exports and to countries with overcapacity rerouting their exports to the euro area.
7,000 is the number of jobs going at Procter & Gamble over the next 2 years. The consumer goods giant said the move was a continuation of current strategy, not a new direction. But it also warned that it faced a hit to profits of around $600 million based on the latest tariff rates. And 2.2 million is how many people Nintendo says applied for a lottery to get one of the first units of its new Switch 2 console. Analysts say that is among signs pointing to a red-hot demand for the service, which follows the big-selling original version. The Switch 2 hit store shelves in Japan this week, but with shortages expected, it could be some time before it's widely available worldwide.
From investors learning the taco trade to China's rare earths, these are the stories to watch in business and finance in the coming week. The high-voltage volatility that shook markets earlier in the year has subsided, with investors becoming accustomed to Trump's on-again, off-again approach to anything from tariffs to personal relationships. This tendency to U-turn is being dubbed the taco trade, or Trump always chickens out. Wall Street's fear gauge, the VIX index, has slipped back below the 20 line that many view as a watermark. There have been just 7 days when the VIX has popped above 20 in the last month, compared with every day from April 2nd Liberation Day to early May. Investors are hoping any rise in Wednesday's May consumer inflation report won't be as severe as feared. While recent data shows inflation falling close to the Federal Reserve's 2% target, price pressures in manufacturing and services sectors are picking up. The Fed's most recent Beige Book showed economic activity is weakening. Washington and Beijing's trade spat has brought a familiar issue back to the surface. China has a stranglehold on the global supply of so-called rare earths, and after Beijing restricted exports, the auto industry is feeling it. Suzuki has suspended production of the Swift subcompact, weeks after Ford did the same for its Explorer SUV. Chinese trade data and inflation figures are due on Monday. The UK Labour government's first spending review is set for Wednesday. Public debt has swelled, leaving Finance Minister Rachel Reeves minimal headroom to avoid breaking self-imposed fiscal rules, unless able to resist tax hikes. Businesses and borrowers may prefer higher taxes, if that lowers the odds of bond vigilantes showing up.
At Yosemite National Park in California, the workforce is stretched so thin this season that nearly all staffers, including scientists, are required to take turns checking people in and cleaning campground toilets, according to two people familiar with conditions there. It's a reflection of a severe shortage in national parks across the country, which have been under budget and understaffed for years, but has been made worse by cuts to the federal workforce by President Donald Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency, a key player in Trump's drive to slash federal jobs. Kristen Brengel is a senior executive for the National Parks Conservation Association, or NPCA, a watchdog advocacy group.
Yosemite did not have enough staff people to keep those campgrounds open, so they're pulling from every sector of the park to clean toilets and keep those campgrounds open. And so that's going to be an area of potential struggle for the Park Services to maintain those reservations that people have all summer long.
The National Park Service has lost 13% of its 20,000-strong workforce since Trump took office in January, according to the NPCA. The group attributes much of the drop to job eliminations and staff-taking buyouts offered by DOGE. The Trump administration has not provided its own figures. The National Park Service said in an email to Reuters that park staff may be asked to take on extra roles to keep parks safe and open. Trump's deputy White House press secretary told Reuters the parks will be in pristine condition for visitors and that Trump is, quote, ensuring agencies across the country run more efficiently while preserving great services for the American people. Despite a public pledge by Interior Secretary Doug Burgum to hire 7,700 park rangers on a seasonal basis this summer, the NPCA has information showing only 3,300 had been hired as of May 13th. Brengel said the difficulties some parks have experienced in hiring and retaining sufficient numbers of rangers and search and rescue personnel presents safety risks.
You're seeing the parks more aggressively posting advice to visitors to bring more water, make sure they have the right gear, don't test their bodies this summer, like do hikes and recreational activities that you think you can handle. And the reason that they're posting that isn't just to give good advice, it's to also because they're worried about whether or not they're going to be able to get to people in a timely way to help them.
While Americans are increasingly divided on a range of key issues, the vast majority cherish the parks as national treasures and beloved, affordable vacation getaways. Last year, national parks welcomed more than 331 million visitors, a new high.
All right, let's take a look at that weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania on this Monday morning. Thunderstorms likely today. Rainfall will be locally heavy at times with the potential for severe thunderstorms and temperatures in the low 70s. Rain showers this evening, overcast skies overnight, lows in the upper 50s. Tuesday, partly cloudy, low 70s. Wednesday, sunny, low 80s. Thursday, partly cloudy, upper 70s. Friday, isolated thunderstorms with temperatures in the mid 70s. About 63 degrees across northwest Pennsylvania this morning. This is the morning drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
It's a good morning and the sun is shining bright. The morning drill is on the
I know they were showing it on TV over the weekend. Jaws celebrating its 50th year. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Yeah. 50 years since
It's older
Jaws
than
came
you.
out. Yes, it is.
That's crazy.
Yes, it
Just
is.
kidding.
Why is that crazy?
I'm kidding.
But no, a lot of big things are planned this summer around Jaws. I think it was released the end of May. So, I mean, it's a movie that created the blockbuster because people lined up around the block to watch Jaws.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and that. Jaws is what, summer movies have become, Thanks to Jaws, you've got, these great movies that come out in the summer, and it wasn't until Star Wars came out that beat Jaws. But anyways, it gave Steven Spielberg his great career, and 50 years. So there'll be a lot of things coming out, I think, this summer to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jaws. So that's hard to believe. But we watched a little bit of Jaws over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get in the summer spirit, right?
Yeehaw.
Actually, there was a lot of great summer type movies that were out.
Yeah.
Grown Ups. That was always a fun one.
That is fun, yeah.
Great Outdoors.
Yep.
We were kind of going through mentally the list of some of those fun summer movies to watch.
Kind of get you into the...
Yeah. But hard to believe 50 years of Jaws. Let's see. Tony's were last night. I'm sure there's people out there who absolutely love that stuff. I have no interest.
We haven't even turned on any. It's not just the Tonys. It's like all award shows.
All award
we're
shows,
not.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Tonys. Listen, and I'm not one of those uncultured people. We grew up in our music class. We would have to watch musical after musical after musical and talk about it, and So I've watched a ton of musicals.
Yeah, same.
Our kids have been in productions. I've done a couple. You've been in some. We're not against it. We were in New York City a couple years ago, and we thought, hey, it'd be fun to go maybe see a. Now, I don't recommend doing it spur of the moment.
No, plan ahead. Holy moly.
Yeah, yeah. Because there were a couple shows where I'm like, well, maybe we drop in and see, but no, it was $300 a ticket. Something like that. It's okay, we
and the most
should have planned.
distance,
yeah. We'll plan ahead next time.
Yeah. I mean, there's some shows that I'm like, oh, that would be great to see, but no, I don't follow them enough. I wouldn't even know. But I'm the same way with the movie,
Yeah.
With any other, I don't follow movies enough or music enough to know who half the people are.
Yeah, because you said to me even at the end of last week, you're like, hey, for Father's Day, I mean, if the weather's not great, do you want to go see a movie? You want to go see Superman or whatever? I'm like, no, that doesn't come out till July.
Yeah, I don't even know. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the new Jurassic Park. Again, I told you the premise of this Jurassic Park movie that's coming out, Jurassic World movie that's coming out, is the same of the second movie and the third movie combined or something like that. And
yeah.
It's going to be stupid. But it's dinosaurs, and I love dinosaurs, so...
Yeah, I mean, and I was I might have no desire to see Superman or that, or, but, it's Father's Day.
Christopher Reeves will always be my Superman.
Correct.
And that first movie, Richard Donner directed, and it's still, to me, just a masterpiece.
Definitely.
I was that little kid that ran around in that costume. In fact, no, I won't share it.
No, go ahead.
No, it's all right.
All right, fine. I was giving you that open door.
No, I won't.
It's okay.
But I love Superman. So I'm I was disappointed in the recent versions of Superman.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about this one. So we'll see. I would like to see it.
Okay.
But so again, I don't know. Maybe if we planned ahead and looked at, I don't even know what stage productions, because I think you see something on Broadway. It's incredible. By the way, I was having a conversation with somebody who went to the Sight and Sound Theater in Lancaster.
Yeah.
The end of last week. I think they're doing Noah, and said it was.
That's cool.
Amazing. So, entertainment like that isn't that far away. And to get to Buffalo, to get to New York, Cleveland, Chicago, not that far away if you want to enjoy something like that. So
Exactly.
All right. We got Neil Freitas coming up and Gary Glunt next hour. He'll be with us in the 8 o'clock. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to be talking to our friends from Meadville Free Clinic.
Awesome.
They've got a big fundraiser event. How about the end of this week? Thurston Classic.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, look, I don't even want to know what the weather. I saw your forecast. Well, is it like Thursday, right?
You know what? I do not want to jinx. We and through your family have had the opportunity to be part of the Thurston Classic in the past.
Yeah.
Your dad has a cousin
amazing
who
experience.
Yes. So whether it's going up in a balloon or chasing, it is a lot of fun, and just being there and seeing everything is awesome as well. So. And
there's so many factors that feed into it. So it just has to be the perfect. You could think, oh, it's a beautiful day, but there might be some different things happening above that keep the balloons on the ground, and it just takes the perfect weather. So yeah,
there's a lot to it. So all right, it's gonna be a busy week here in Northwest Pennsylvania. That's what I'm getting at.
Father's Day week.
Ah, right.
You can have it. I'll give it to you. It's fine.
The week?
Yep.
I don't think so.
Yeah, sure. Right. Sure.
This is the Morning Drill.
Sun jumps up just like a spark. Coffee brews, I'm ready to embark. Screen lights up
The US and China are set for a new round of trade talks Monday in London. Washington's team will feature Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China says Vice Premier He Li-feng will be in the UK capital for the whole week. Posting on social media, Donald Trump said the meeting should go very well. Last week he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking a rare leader-to-leader call. The discussion didn't produce any obvious breakthrough, but the pair agreed to visit each other in the future. Both countries face pressure to strike a deal, with the trade war sparking widespread concern for global growth. US firms have also been alarmed by Chinese curbs on shipments of rare earth minerals, which are vital to car makers and other sectors. Meanwhile, companies in China face US restrictions on the supply of key goods, including chip design software and parts for nuclear power plants. In May, the two sides did agree to a 90-day deal to ease some of the tit-for-tat tariffs they had imposed on each other. However, the truce has sometimes looked fragile, with Trump at times accusing Beijing of violating its terms. The deal also failed to address broader sources of tension, including US accusations that China permits the illicit flow of fentanyl across its borders.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors, we also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who can solve this equation?
Ooh! Me.
Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
U.S. stocks closed higher on Friday, with the Dow and S&P 500 gaining 1% and the Nasdaq climbing 1.2%. The S&P 500 closed above 6,000 for the first time since February 21st. A better-than-expected jobs report calmed worries about the economy, with non-farm payrolls increasing by 139,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate stood at 4.2%, in line with expectations. Alexander Morris is CEO of FM Investments.
I think anyone in the stock markets today is enjoying what was a pretty solid jobs number, particularly on the back of a weak ADP job print, and then some reasonable but not out-of-line revisions, followed by some aspirations that, although the Federal Reserve clearly isn't coming to the rescue tomorrow, it does look like we're on target for some rate cuts in 2025.
Following the report, traders maintained their view that the first Fed rate cut would likely come in September, with one more cut in view by December. Stocks on the move Friday included Tesla, which rose nearly 4% after plunging about 15% on Thursday during CEO Elon Musk's public feud with President Trump over the tax cut and spending bill. Other megacaps also advanced, including Amazon and Alphabet, which gained about 3% each. Broadcom shares fell 5% after the networking and custom AI chipmaker's quarterly revenue forecast failed to impress investors. And shares of Lululemon slumped almost 20% as the sportswear maker cut its annual profit target, citing higher costs from Trump's tariffs.
us this morning the city manager for the city of Titusville, Mr. Neil Freitas. Neil, good morning. Good to see you.
Luke, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Looking forward to catching up with you. Another week.
Yeah, I missed you last week, and I was hiding out, but I'm back.
Actually, I think it's been a couple weeks, right? Since
It
before
maybe has, yeah, we had a
Memorial
holiday.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we'll get caught up with everything that's been going on, what's been going on with meetings, what's coming up with meetings, what's the summer look like. Let's kind of dive into it.
Yeah,
Catch
all
us up
kinds
on
of
everything.
things. Yeah, last week City Council met. It was a light agenda, and discussed potentially starting a parks committee, park and recreation committee. Obviously, a little bit different than what it used to be in the past. As we all know, we've done quite a few upgrades in our parks the past few years. New playground equipment, obviously quite a few things down at the Ed Meyer complex as well. And so Councilman Griffin brought up the idea in speaking with folks out in the public of having a committee together to kind of oversee the parks, to continue the improvements, different things like that. Right now, the city has 2 employees who basically mow the parks. If they see something wrong, they report it, we fix it. But it would be great to have a group, including the public, the school district as well, as we partner with them in a lot of different things. To be able to meet, however that looks, and then just discuss continued improvements in our parks and maintenance, just different things like that. So again, it's not going to look the same as it did in years past with leisure services, but again, get the community involved and to continue the betterment of the parks.
I was down there Saturday. Holy smokes!
Yeah,
they had a softball
tournament going on. Yeah,
the whole place was filled.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Saturday was a beautiful day. Yesterday wasn't the greatest day with weather, but yeah, fantastic. A lot of events happening, not only at Ed Meyer, but at our other parks as well. With,
Absolutely.
Graduation parties and just different events. So again, we want to continue the improvement of those, all our parks.
I know you mentioned the fact that the open air market's back in town. Saturday, again, beautiful day to be out, and we had a chance to walk down and get some things down there. It was great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Wonderful to have them back in town on Tuesdays and Saturdays, as you said, and again, just for folks to be able to easy access for everybody, being in the center of town. And yeah, if we can just get the weather to cooperate, have a few nice days anyway, again, but yeah, we're just glad to have them back.
Those meetings in the summer, it seems like it's either full agenda or just a little bit, which is always nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
There are things that continue to take place over the summer months.
Yeah, a lot of projects that we're working on. Obviously, CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, projects that we have going on. We've talked about the electrical upgrade at Shady Park. That's something that'll be starting here very soon. Our next step there is a pre-construction meeting. AMP Electric was awarded the contract to upgrade the electric, which is exciting. So that'll be happening here within the next month or so. We also have our paving project as well. We obviously pave as many streets as we can, obviously each year. So that'll be happening here, another week or so. So the public works crews, streets crews are working on preparing intersections for those, the paving to start. We also have playground sets that still need to go into Roberts Grove Park, something we're going to try to get done this year. And again, just quite a few projects that we're working on, obviously partnering with other folks as well on different things. Benson Library is going to have an exciting project with replacing the roof and some improvements to the outside of Benson Library as well. So we're looking forward to that. And again, it just never slows down.
Never. Not at all. Paving, when?
Third week in June
is
the set date. Sometimes it's usually there. It's towards the end of June, beginning of July. So we're on track for here another week or so. We'll be starting that. Prepping the intersections of where we're going to be paving is very important. We have to have that done before they can even start paving. So the guys are working on that, and we're excited. We're also going to be paving down at the Ed Meyer complex. That was a community development block grant allocation that we put this year is a project, again, to continue the improvements down there as well. So that'll be happening.
Maybe just talk a little bit about this, because I've heard a couple people say, people who know, by the way, what goes on with these grants, where you say, the dugouts and some of the projects were quite expensive. Grant money's covering that. The problem is if you don't use the grant money, you don't get it, right?
Right. It'll get allocated to another
or you don't get as much.
Right. So we get a set amount every year. There's administrative costs that come out of that. Our Crawford County Planning Office administers that grant money for the city. They don't pick what projects the city's going to do. The city decides that, along with the public. That's why we have our public meetings, to give folks a chance to bring up some ideas, some recommendations to council, and council then decides where that money goes. There is a lot of restrictions a lot of things that have to happen. There has to be an environmental study that has to be done. You have to pay the higher wage to whoever is awarded that contract. That takes obviously some of the funding. I say take it away, but that pays for where some of the project money could go to. And again, we look at the dugouts from years ago, and obviously all of us weren't happy with the cost of those dugouts. So $400,000 dugouts, and you just shake your head and say we could do those for $10,000. And again, we get that money every year, and it needs to be allocated. And sometimes we can't control what the costs are going to be. And again,
or you may not have a project that's coming up where you could use that for that project, right? So it's like, okay, this is where we are right now. This is the project we need to do.
Yeah, and there's certain guidelines. There's only, you can't do it just anything you want with the funding. It has to meet the guidelines with the Community Development Block Grant, through the program. And so again, we can't just allocate it to, hey, we want to, build a business, or we want to build some type of infrastructure. It's got to be to a low to moderate income. There's a lot of different guidelines, obviously, we have to follow to be able to use the funding. So again, it can be very frustrating, but again, we're very happy that we get that funding each and every year, and we're able to allocate it towards something here for the benefit of the city. But again, there's guidelines we have to follow as well.
Obviously, there's a lot being thrown out in social media about funding from the government. Is that an area that might be looked at down the road or soon, where could be decreased, or what's sort of the situation there?
Yeah, we felt a little bit here. USDA, this year we had allocated half of a new police cruiser, thinking that we'd be able to apply through USDA for some funding as we've done in years past. Unfortunately, funding wasn't available this year for whatever reason. We were also told that it may not be available next year as well. So again, we're feeling the effects here. We're looking at alternative ways to be able to make up that difference, and we've been able to do that this year. But as far as anything else, I haven't gotten any calls of anything saying, hey, you receive this every year, you're not going to get it next year. Again, USDA has been really the only one that we've seen that effect. Again, we're very hopeful that we'll continue with the programs that we get. Community Development Block Grant money is another one. We get roughly right around a little over $300,000 a year, and hopefully that continues, again, for the betterment of the community. But we'll have to see the future. What the future holds.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the betterment, just over a week ago, Hope Crawford County held an event. Did the city get involved with that?
We did. We partnered with the Hope folks over in Meadville. It's a wonderful group that comes together. They spent some time over here this past year. They've met. We decided on a neighborhood that they wanted to focus on. Went door to door, met with all the folks in this area. This was over in the western part of the city, over off Spring Street. In the Garden Street area, and 2 Saturdays ago we met and had a community cleanup day. Wonderful event. We had many volunteers, 30, 40 volunteers that came out in that neighborhood, talked to folks in that neighborhood. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't the greatest, but we had a large cleanup day. We filled 2 big roll-off dumpsters that were behind the old Hanley store.
Wow.
And it was a wonderful event. We spent all the morning there. We used city equipment. Again, it's just wonderful to see the volunteers and the community come together for the betterment of that area down there. And again, there's still more work to be done down there. Hats off to Joe Thompson and the Magic Bus as he came as well and made burgers and snacks for everyone. And again, it was just wonderful to have everyone come together, as I said.
What was the reaction from the homeowners or the people down there? I mean, were they kind of happy
grateful
for the help? Okay.
Yeah, very grateful. They helped as well. I think what happens a lot of times, and not just in this area, but folks don't know how to get rid of sometimes things that build up, in their homes, whether it's an old freezer, refrigerator, just things that continue to build up, and again, don't know which way to go to be able to get rid of it, and it was just great that we were able to work with them, and just a wonderful event. And hats off to Hope, that group and that staff that came over here and just selected this area in Titusville, and we hope to expand in the city as well in the future.
Looks like in this picture he actually lifted that whole thing up himself.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That's actually a frame of a vehicle that we were able to get out of a yard and was taken to a scrap yard. So again, wonderful event.
Is that one of those things where when you guys were done, you noticed like you could have done it before and after, and it was be remarkably different?
Yeah, and again, there's still some more work that needs done. We weren't able to get obviously everything down there, but again, great picture there with all the volunteers, and we just went door to door, house to house, and worked together to clean it up. And again, just the feeling after we were all done, to be able to be a part of that event was just amazing.
Yeah, that's great. now that's an organization that came to you to ask to help be a part of that? Or?
Yeah, the HOPE program through Women's Services reached out to us and said, hey, this is something, that initiative that we do over here in Meadville. We've obviously seen the wonderful improvements that it's made, the impact they've made over in Meadville, and said, yes, we're very, we're very welcoming for them to come here. And again, this wasn't just something that we decided in a week and said, hey, let's just have a cleanup day. This was something that they spent the time going door to door. Cricket Wenzel Tracy was a big spokesperson for this program and continues to be. And again, just partnering everyone together for the betterment of the community, and that's what it's about.
Was Saturday National Trails Day as well?
Yes,
okay.
I wasn't able to make it, but this past Saturday was. I know they had a nice day. Obviously, you can see there all the wonderful, had some vendors that were set up for the Trails Day, and wonderful event. And again, the weather was very cooperative for them, so that's great as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like between graduation parties and things like that, there was a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. With the graduation, obviously, was held on Friday. Wonderful, just great to see all the graduates. Obviously, with graduation this year and the parade that we had afterwards, we had our annual parade that we meet behind the middle school and go through town. I had a chance to participate in that as well, just to help set up and then obviously watch the graduates come down Main Street. And again, it was just great to see the community support, everyone yelling and cheering as they stroll down through Main Street.
I think the school district kind of upset that they couldn't have it outside.
Yeah.
But the weather held off enough that the parade was able to be held, and it was great.
Yeah,
so
it was wonderful to see. And again, it would have been nice to have a Carter Field, but Mother Nature obviously wasn't very cooperative.
No, so, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. City Manager Neil Freitas with us here this morning. Well, for you, what's sort of the top of the list here of projects that need to be tackled this summer? It was just crazy to think, like, okay, we're into June, July, August. We got to get things in.
Yeah, this week obviously is a non-council meeting week, so this week I'm going to work on some grant applications. We have a multimodal through the state application that's going to be due in July. It's something that we like to start a little bit ahead of time. That project we're looking at is the East Mount Vernon Street. As I know I've talked in the past, the partial road collapse that we had there years ago. We were close to be getting some funding, and unfortunately things didn't work out at the federal level, but we are back to the drawing board, and we have some funding opportunity available to repair that street. So we're going to be tackling that. We also have some funding that's available through our strategic management program. That's something that I know I've talked about in the past as well. We have some equipment needed at the police department, so that's an application they'll be writing as well, and working with staff with this week, and I'm sure into next week as well, as that'll be due in July. So things like that, I'll be working on that. Obviously working with us, our Public Works Director, on making sure the paving's ready to go. Again, just lots of little things and lots of big things as well.
Well, yeah, on the big thing part of it in Public Works, the storage building, right? That needs to be taken care of, or what's
Public Works building? Works, yeah, that's another project we're looking at. We're exploring some avenues of funding that's available. Obviously, making calls with our county partners as well. And again, that's a large project, along with the water well project.
Yes.
We had the driller here last week and the week before, and working around the weather, of course, and we're waiting. Obviously, that project will be several years in the making, but again, working through that progress as well.
So they are starting to do some things? Or?
Yep,
okay.
They had their first well that was drilled last week. They're going to be doing some samples, gathering some information off that, and then designing, obviously, what the what that facility will look like, some of the things that we need to do, and again, that's a very lengthy process, and but it has started.
Does that include, you need a new building for that?
We will.
Okay.
We'll have a new building constructed. We also have to factor in, the future of some requirements that may be needed that we're going to have to do with our water, so we want to make sure our facility's done right. Our city engineer is working on that design, and obviously working with the city to figure out what that looks like, and obviously with the results of the drilling as well, with the water samples and things, so. Yeah,
I think in the past you said it should be one of those things where you get the new ones up and running and you just sort of switch over, right?
Yeah, we'll leave everything in place as it is now, and the goal at the end is to be able to go over and turn the valve. It gets into the new system, and
voila.
In a perfect world, that's the way it'll work. So we'll see how it goes, but that's years out.
What would be your goal, or have they said this should be completed by?
Yeah, if I were to, I couldn't give you an exact time, but as things progress, late next year, even 2027, possibly. Again, it just depends on a lot of different factors. So it's a slow progression, but Yeah, possibly next year.
Yeah,
late next year.
So you said, I mean, this initially came up because of an inspection, correct?
Yeah, DEP comes in every year, inspects our water facility, many different factors, many things that they look at. Obviously, our wells are over 100 years old, and not that we had any issues, again, but looking at these wells, we have 10 different separate wells. They're not tied in together. If we have an issue with one of the wells, we have to shut everything down. Doesn't really make sense this day and age, and so that being what it is, it was just time.
Yeah, and I would imagine some new technology will be involved.
Yeah, a lot of new technology, a lot of changes happening. Obviously, for the past 100 years, we've seen so many different things, and we need things set up a little bit differently than what it's been in the past. And thankfully, as I said, everything's been running properly. There's no issue with water quality. It's just time.
So, like, they'll give, since they came in and said, okay, this is a problem, you need to do something about this. I assume they give you the leeway now they know that you're working on this. Okay.
Yep. We had to give them a report within 6 months of what the plan was. The plan was either put a Band-Aid on it or get a new system. And, it was decided amongst talking to everyone and our engineer that it was time to move forward with a new system. So, yeah, they've been in the loop. They obviously come and check things, and, they've been great to work with.
Give us that sort of that checklist for the summer here of just some things for folks to keep in mind, like, grass, church run, those things that come up in the summer months.
Yeah, obviously right now we're big into grass growing season. Obviously it's been raining quite a bit. Grass is growing. We do have an ordinance for high grass at 8 inches is the height. Obviously we're working with folks. We've had some issues with people not being able to mow their grass. Give us a call. We'll work with you. It's not about us writing tickets. Our code enforcement doesn't want to do things like that. He's got better things to do. And as I said, so again, we'll work with you on that. Garbage, another thing I want to mention too, and I forgot to mention the last time I was here, is garbage pickup. Your garbage gets picked up. Don't leave your cans out on the street. That we get a lot of calls on folks leaving the cans out, or they leave them for the following week. And again, pull them back to your residence, dealing with your garbage. Church run.
And by the way, certainly there's understanding where, if you're going on a family trip, vacations are coming up, ask a neighbor maybe or a family member to swing by and help.
Ask your neighbor. Let us know even too, just so we know. Again, we do get you'd be surprised the many calls we get of people. And I realize when the garbage comes, sometimes they're dumping the garbage and they're leaving it out in the middle of the street. Let us know so we can let the garbage company know. Obviously, they're not supposed to be doing that. So again, let us know. Church run. Yeah, we've been closely monitoring church run. Looking for funding for that as well. Obviously, for short-term fixes, us making sure, and homeowners along church run as well, making sure there's not debris. If you see a tree that's down into church run, let us know. We'll try to help you with that. And again, we're doing our best to maintain the open stream.
Something else that's been kind of fun to watch this summer is the mural down at Founders Park.
Very exciting to see, as you see there, Sarah working on that. Her and her husband have done a marvelous job, as you see there. Just painting the primer on the wall made a huge difference and really cleaned up that wall. So, yeah, weather permitting, she'll be done before you know it. And again, very excited to see the how it looks in the end.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been quite a busy start to the summer. Splash Pad, let's talk about that. It was busy this weekend.
Yeah, Splash Pad opened up Memorial Day weekend. Very excited about that. And yeah, I know every day that I've gone by, there's been people over there, even when it's been in the 60s. So again, we're very excited to be able to offer that to the community, and again, with the new playground set that's over there as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Really, there's a lot to be excited about, and a lot of people already kind of have a countdown for Oil Festivals.
Yeah,
so
Oil Fest is around the corner. Again, I know they have a great planning committee for Oil Fest. It'll be bigger and better this year, and praying for good weather, of course.
Last Wednesday was a roundtable for the month.
Yes, last week was, so we'll be meeting first July 2nd, maybe. I believe it's the first Wednesday, obviously, of each month.
Right,
and again, those continue to grow. And yeah, wow, I know. Pretty soon school will be starting again. I even know it just ended last week. So,
isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
I was talking to Kevin Vincent, the band director.
Yeah.
And I said, "You got your halftime show ready?" He goes, "Yes, I do."
Yes.
So.
Yeah, football season's around the corner. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
And again, there's a lot going on this summer, and community partners who come in and help with projects can help make things go a lot faster too, especially when you're looking for funding. So, if somebody, an organization, actually, what you need to do is probably attend a meeting to kind of understand what's being discussed. Maybe where some things are coming up where you're going to, say, hey, maybe we're applying for a grant.
Yep.
Maybe there's an organization that can help.
Yeah.
Go to a meeting and kind of learn more.
Yeah, I agree. And, something the city we do a lot is we write letters of support. So if there's a group out there applying for some funding, let us know. We're glad to write a support letter for you. And again, it's about all of us working together to make the town better.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody just a couple weeks ago, and both sort of the same conversation. It was like, it's so nice, it's warming up. It's, summer's here.
Yep.
But yes, construction season, PennDOT, and that side of it that comes with it. But just be patient with everybody, especially as you said, you've got people working on projects.
Mm-hmm.
The new the ice cream and coffee shop that's opening up.
We've seen that over on the western part of town here. Again, that'll be open before you know it, possibly within a month or so, from what I've heard. So that's exciting. I wanted to mention 2 concerts in the park started last week.
Yes.
So again, great to see tonight. Matter of fact, I'm not sure who's playing, but that'll be tonight as
Around
well.
8 bands.
Hopefully, weather permitting, and very exciting.
Do you know, is there a rain location?
I know last year they went to Ironworks. I don't want to say that's what the case is, but boy, I'm sure they have something scheduled, something planned if there is rain that's in the forecast. So we'll have to see. Stay tuned online, I guess.
Yeah. And again, with the weather, you just never know. It may say one thing and be something else. So just kind of keep an eye out on it.
Keep an eye on social media.
Yeah. Next meeting is when?
Yeah, next Wednesday will be our second meeting of the month of June. So again, encouraging everyone to come out. We're meeting at City Hall, 6 p.m. next Wednesday, and the agenda will be out the beginning of next week. Luke?
Doesn't slow down, does it?
Doesn't slow down, no. It's great talking to you. Thanks for having me again.
Well, thanks for being with us and getting caught up on everything.
Yeah,
so,
appreciate it.
A lot happening. And check out the Facebook page, website, or go to a meeting to learn more.
Yeah, give us a call at City Hall. Glad to answer any questions that you have, recommendations, things you're not happy with. Let us know. We can fix it.
Or things you are happy with. You like
we'll
seeing
take those
the positive things,
yeah,
too.
We'll take those, too.
Yeah. Thanks, Neil.
Hey, thanks.
The US and China are set for a new round of trade talks Monday in London. Washington's team will feature Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. China says Vice Premier He Lifeng will be in the UK capital for the whole week. Posting on social media, Donald Trump said the meeting should go very well. Last week he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping, marking a rare leader-to-leader call. The discussion didn't produce any obvious breakthrough, but the pair agreed to visit each other in the future. Both countries face pressure to strike a deal, with the trade war sparking widespread concern for global growth. US firms have also been alarmed by Chinese curbs on shipments of rare earth minerals, which are vital to car makers and other sectors. Meanwhile, companies in China face US restrictions on the supply of key goods, including chip design software and parts for nuclear power plants. In May, the two sides did agree to a 90-day deal to ease some of the tit-for-tat tariffs they had imposed on each other. However, the truce has sometimes looked fragile, with Trump at times accusing Beijing of violating its terms. The deal also failed to address broader sources of tension, including US accusations that China permits the illicit flow of fentanyl across its borders.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks closed higher on Friday, with the Dow and S&P 500 gaining 1% and the Nasdaq climbing 1.2%. The S&P 500 closed above 6,000 for the first time since February 21st. A better-than-expected jobs report calmed worries about the economy, with non-farm payrolls increasing by 139,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate stood at 4.2%, in line with expectations. Alexander Morris is CEO of FM Investments.
I think anyone in the stock markets today is enjoying what was a pretty solid jobs number, particularly on the back of a weak ADP job print, and then some reasonable but not out-of-line revisions, followed by some aspirations that, although the Federal Reserve clearly isn't coming to the rescue tomorrow, it does look like we're on target for some rate cuts in 2025.
Following the report, traders maintained their view that the first Fed rate cut would likely come in September, with one more cut in view by December. Stocks on the move Friday included Tesla, which rose nearly 4% after plunging about 15% on Thursday during CEO Elon Musk's public feud with President Trump over the tax cut and spending bill. Other megacaps also advanced, including Amazon and Alphabet, which gained about 3% each. Broadcom shares fell 5% after the networking and custom AI chip maker's quarterly revenue forecast failed to impress investors. And shares of Lululemon slumped almost 20% as the sportswear maker cut its annual profit target, citing higher costs from Trump's tariffs.
Gary Glenn joins us this morning. Gary, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Luke.
Man, I'll tell you, since we've been having these conversations, I think almost every day something enters my view where I go, that's interesting. Gary talked about that. Or I wonder if what Gary would think about that. So it's having an effect on me, Gary.
Well, that's, again, I just, my goal is I hope we can help as many people as possible, to understand, the basics, and it's a big topic. There's a lot of stuff, but we don't have to make it rocket science, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of folks want to make it rocket science, but it's not, and so, again, the more we can do to help people, the better.
So let's recap a little bit, because I've been hearing a lot of conversations now that, tax day is over. People are, I'm getting my tax return, can't wait to get it. I'm going to do this. And I'm thinking, there's other things you could do. So let's kind of recap what we talked about last time you were on.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
All right, so a quick little recap. So folks are getting their tax returns back, and now you got some choices that you can do with this money, hopefully, right? And we talked about about doing a little combo with our money and making our money work for us. So we said, well, let's put some of it into an interest-bearing interest-bearing account of some kind, and then have a little side gig of some kind, and that where we can add money to that, at least until we know what we really want to do with it, versus just spending it, because once you spend it, it's gone, and there's once you learn how money works, there's a point where you go, well, if I spend this money, I'm going to lose this opportunity over here. And now you don't spend as frequently, and you're like, oh, well, I can see what this is doing for me, right? So
can I say, this may be stupid, but does it kind of turn into something fun for somebody? And here's what I mean by that. When they get money and they buy something, it's that like instant gratification, right?
Yes.
But that can also apply to investments. When you see what it's doing for you, then it becomes challenging. It becomes sort of exciting. And You're going, hey, what if I do this, or what if I leave it here? So
Absolutely.
it can swing the other way.
And I think it does. And everything from just saying, hey, man, I can do this and I can do that, and this is a better opportunity to, being able to take advantage of other opportunities. And you look at that and you go, man, I can't believe I just spent this on nothing, and the other thing that is kind of a thing that I say because I heard it from, what was the name of the book? Let's see, one of my favorite books, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, and in it said, that make money work for you, right? Okay, so what the old saying is, poor people work for their money, rich people, money works for them. And it's true. We're just not taught about finance, and I'm so glad, and I hope that our schools do it justice, right? And that, because Pennsylvania is now, like we said before, mandated that financial education must be in every high school in Pennsylvania, and that it has to be a standalone class. And I just hope that these folks do it justice, right? But there's fewer and fewer business teachers. When I taught my last 15 years, I didn't even have a business teaching student.
Wow.
And there were only 2 schools in Pennsylvania that I knew did the business education certificate, and Mercyhurst was one of them, and now they don't do it. So the only other one I know is IUP.
Well, I'm going to keep on the trend of asking you something stupid. Was there sort of not a stigma, but you had Votech kids, you had business kids. This is when I went. Mm-hmm. The reality is, everybody needs like all of that. Like everybody should be exposed to all of this. And at the time, I'm looking back thinking business, it seemed like that was for kids that wanted to do like accounting. And it's like, well, no, there's more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than that.
There is, but again, well, I grew up same time you did, right? And I didn't. No one ever really talked to me about what Votech was. Okay, and I know we're getting off subject a little bit here, but if I'd have known what Votech was, I probably would have went to Votech, right? Because I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy making things and doing things, and I've always enjoyed that. You get that. You get in education, and I don't want to get on the education topic because we talk about that all day. It's too many times goes with the whims of what's happening politically, right? I know schools that got rid of their wood shops and their power shops. Utterly ridiculous, right? I mean, the reason I say that is, one, you have those kids that love that too. Everybody should know a little bit about that, right?
Right.
I mean, even if you're not a mechanic, don't want to be a mechanic, right? Boy, I hate when I go to the mechanic shop and they say, hey, you need this, and you're like, boy, do I really need that? And especially when they put the price tag on it, and so I wish we would just look at things in the aggregate, right? Where we can do all these different things. You can have financial education. You can have Votech education. You can have college education.
Yeah.
And you could do it together.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you need to learn how to balance a checkbook, how to write a check. You need
Absolutely.
all this. I mean, we're talking basic things.
Right. And even more than that, we need to understand how it works. Right? And that you don't have to know everything about it, but you need to understand how it works. Now, I'm going to go off script here a little bit, right? But so, for instance, nobody tells you in life that there's certain ages that matter, right? And they don't tell you why they matter. So, example, age 55, right? Okay, so age 55, we're talking about retirement here, right? So, one of the keys about retirement is the sooner you get started on it, the better it is. Right? And you can wait too long and be in real trouble, right? And okay, so, and we'll take a look at that with a chart that we have in our conversation here. But seriously, like if nobody thinks about it when they're 14, but when you're 14 and you can start working, if you do that, oh my gosh, can you set yourself up for a fantastic retirement, right? And before retirement. Now, why is 55 an issue? Because they changed the rule that now you can take money out of your 401k or your 403b, all right? For those 401ks are, I believe, for for-profit companies, where 403bs are for non-profit companies like schools and stuff like that. And you can start withdrawing money without a penalty if you leave it in the 401k or the 403b at your workplace. And so that's a new rule, right? So now if you're thinking about retiring early, hey, I got another piece of my puzzle here, right? Then 62 is another age, right? Because that's when you can start collecting Social Security, okay? Then 65 is kind of a number to think about, but 70 for most people is full retirement for Social Security, right? So, so people don't say or tell you, well, you need to plan for that stuff, right? Because if you wait for 5 years before and you go, hey, I want to retire, and you haven't done anything, well, you could be in trouble. Depending on depending on where you work, how much you make, so on and so forth, right? And then early in life. So, one of the things about early in life that, if you look at it, kids from the 14 age till they either get out of high school or get out of college, right? They're sitting pretty, and they don't know they're sitting pretty. They think they're broke, right? And with all due respect, they're the richest teenagers that have ever existed in the United States, okay? But they don't. No one tells them about it, right? So if you can get a kid to start working and start putting a little bit of money away into retirement investments, they can retire way before the rest of us, and so, we talked about the three key factors, right? If you're going to make money through investing, which is just one part of the puzzle, okay? I'm a huge proponent of owning businesses. I'm a huge proponent of investing as maybe a silent partner in a business. if you ask me, that's where the real money's at. Okay, even better than investing. All right, but in the investing world, time, amount, and interest, right, or rate of return.
Right.
Okay, and the reason we say rate of return versus interest is some like stocks don't give you interest. Right, they give you a rate of return where a savings account gives you interest, but they use that number. So if they say stocks are making 10% a year, they use that number to correlate to interest-bearing activities. So time. Who's got time on their side? Young people, right? I'm 57, and I hate to I don't get morbid here, but I don't have time on my side anymore, right? Okay, amount, right? So kids look at amount and they think, I don't have any money. Oh my gosh, when you're 14, the only expenses you should have, I hope, is the ones you create for yourself, right? I hope you're not paying the rent. I hope you're not, paying the bills. But if you are, that's not good, okay? If you have, just an income coming in that you don't have to spend on anything but what you want to. Oh, what a huge opportunity, right? And then you look at life and you go, okay, so when are the times when I'm not probably going to have money, okay? And that's one, when you're in college. You're probably not going to have a lot of money because you can't work a lot, right? Okay, and now you have some stuff that you might have to take care of, right? Now you got maybe some loans, maybe you have, room and board and stuff you got to pay for.
$400 a book.
$400 a book, exactly, right? And then, when you first start working, I see this so often. You get that first big paycheck, right? And you think you are rich. And you can't you got to not act like you're rich because you're not, right? You get that first real big paycheck and you have to act like you are the poorest person on earth. Because if you do that, you will set yourself up nice, right? Okay, but they don't. And I didn't do it. Right, I remember I got my first big accounting paycheck, right, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is more money than I ever seen." Right, and I was an idiot. I went goofy. I had 4 vehicles, right? One person, who needs 4 vehicles? Okay, nobody explains this in life. Like, this is how life kind of normally works, right? Okay. So anyway, all right, so, we need to do that too. We need to explain, hey, here's the times in life that are important times in life that we need to plan for, okay? And if we don't, the option is that it doesn't turn out as well, okay? The old forest for the tree, right? Okay,
Yes.
I can't see the forest because I'm right here and here's the tree, And so anyway, but with that being said, all right, let's jump back to, what we can do with our money kind of thing, right? So there are a bunch of investment opportunities out there, right? And they all have their purposes, okay? So like when I talk about savings accounts and checking accounts and money market accounts and CDs and that kind of thing, right? There's a purpose for those, okay? And I don't want people to think from our conversations that they're bad. They just have their purpose, right? And one of their purposes is not to make money, all right? You're not going to make money in a savings account. You're not making money in a money market account. You're not making money in, CDs, okay? But that wasn't what they were meant for, right? Okay? So, back to, we talked about the rule of 72, right? So if you take the rule of 72, and the rule of 72 says that if you take your interest or rate of return and divide it into 72, that tells you how long it's going to take your money to double, right? So if, savings accounts and checking accounts, and this makes me sick, are like under 1%. And that should not be, right? That is, when we grew up, were they ever under 1%? No, right? So 72 divided by 1. 72 years, your money's going to double. Good luck making money like that, right? Okay? So where do you make the money at through investing, right? Okay? Well, here you go. So now we have our $1,000 or our income tax return, correct? Okay, and you make money in mutual funds, right? That's where we go to. We make money mutual funds, we make money stocks, we make money owning businesses, right? Junk bonds, different stuff that has more of a risk. Okay, and there's the trade-off, right? Okay, here's your trade-off. That if I stay safe, I usually don't make a ton of interest or rate of return. If I get a little bit more risky of losing my money, okay, then I get a better return, okay? And so these things give you a little better return, and maybe a lot better return, but there's risk of losing your money, okay? Yeah. Now, but so, and I want to state that because you can. I mean, the stock market right now, right? Okay, a lot of people lost a lot of money, right? Okay, but the more you learn about how it works, time, right? Time is a key factor, right? If you look at stock market in the short aggregate, okay, man, it's hard. If you don't know what you're doing, right? If you're not somebody who watches it every day and you have a plan and you are a broker and you're a financial manager, right? If you're not that person, man, it's about as risky as you can get playing the stock market in the short term. Okay. Now, if you're not that person, and I'm not that person, like I don't sit there and watch the stock market every day, but if you look at how it works and I look at time, right? There's an old thing called safety in numbers, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and that's the whole concept of a mutual fund, right? Yeah. So the words mutual and fund, mutual meaning we get a bunch of people together and put our money together and we invest it into funds, okay, into something, right? And they can invest into anything. Right? They don't have to just be stocks that they invest in. They can invest in bonds. They can invest in CDs. They can invest in money markets, right? And whatever you do. But so let's say this, okay? Number one, I want to put this out there, all right? When I talk about this, you should never use money that you absolutely need to invest in the stock market, all right? Golden rule is use the money that you don't need, all right? And people say, well, geez, I need all my money, okay? Well, then if that's the case, don't go out there and be buying pop, right? Yeah. That's, what is it? An iced tea at McDonald's is $2.19 for an iced tea, right? Don't be buying, that $1,000 cell phone. So if every bit of money you need, there's always a little bit that you don't need that you're going to waste on something, right? Let's change that, right? So that $1,000 you got back from the IRS, okay? So, if you blow it, it's gone, okay? Apparently you didn't need it, okay? All right, now let's take a look, all right? So you got the chart popped up there, right? So on the top are some scenarios, okay? And you can make whatever scenario up you want, okay? And this is nothing that's hard to do. I go to Google, right, or whatever, and Google compound interest calculator, all right, and then start punching your numbers in, and it'll tell you what you're going to make, okay? So up top, all right, is us being safe, all right? So I'm putting it into a 4% account, okay? And here's the good news. They're starting to come back around.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so you can now get some 4%, all right? And there was always a golden rule was this. If you can get money for less than 4%, we called it free money, all right? Because you could always invest it in something else that could get you more money, okay? So 4% was the kind of the go-to back in the day. But what happened, and I get why it happened, but our economy forced us into the stock market, okay? Because you couldn't get a 4% savings account anymore. You couldn't get a 4% CD for the last, I don't know how many years, 10, 15, 20 years, because interest rates have been so low, okay? And so the only place you could go to make money was the stock market. So we went to the stock market, right? And we went to the stock market, most of us in mutual funds, all right? Now, so if you look at the top part, okay, and and there's nothing wrong with this, okay? So I took my $1,000 return I got from the IRS, threw it into a 4% account, and I said, you know what? I can put $150 a month. This is the green part, and I can take $150 a month into a 4% account, and this is what I would have over time. No risk. I am going to get that. Okay? I'm in my 4% account. I'm not worried about losing my money. Okay? So now, you say, all right, let's say now I want to make it go faster, right? So our three key factors: time, amount, and interest. So interest isn't going to change. Time is what we know we got, right? And so our effect that we can do is we can amount. So now we do a side gig, right? So I think I said about donating plasma, right? My buddy makes $500 a month donating plasma in Erie, So, all right, so I pretended like I was him, okay? And I didn't even put all 500 in, right? I said, you know what? Let's put 350 of that in. Let's make our deposit 500 now a month, okay? And now, you bump up your number significantly, okay? And now, you know what? You're like, oh, you know what? Okay, so I'm donating plasma. Well, what if I can add some more money into that? Okay, well, what can I do? What else can I do, right? Well, I got a buddy who collects metal and takes it into the metal shop, right? So now I donate plasma once or I think he has to do twice a month, right? Okay, yeah. And now I collect scrap and I take it into the and now I got my other, $500. Okay, and now being safe, if I'm 30, let's see, if I'm a young kid, I just started my job, and let's say I'm 25, at 55, I'm sitting on $700,000.
Wow.
And that's being safe, right? So now let's move to the next step. Let's say, all right, you know what? I want to make more return, right? So in our first scenario, let me do some quick math here. 72 divided by 4. What are we looking at here? Looking at 20. What is it? 19. Let me do some quick math here. I can't do it in my head. So 72 divided by 4. All right, 18. Okay. So your money's going to double every 18 years in that 4% account. All right. So now I'm going to go to a mutual fund, okay? All right? And then there's all different types of mutual funds, okay? So I picked one called the Vanguard 500 Index, okay? And I like this fund. I'm not saying go get it, but I like it, all right? And it has averaged 11% since, I believe, either 67 or 76.
Wow.
Okay? And one of the things about trying to, figure out, what to invest in, time. So here's a fund that's been through the crap, right? It's been through the Reagan recession, right? It's been through the 2008 housing crisis, right? It's been through the bad stuff, all right? So it knows how to handle the bad stuff, apparently. Okay, so I look at it and I go, all right, so it's averaging 11% a year. Okay, so now if I take 72 and I divide that by 11, my money's doubling every 6.5 years. I'm making money.
Yes, you are.
You with me?
Yeah.
All right, so now we're making money. Okay, now are there going to be bad years? Oh yeah. If you got it right now, I guarantee it's not doing good right now. All right, because the Vanguard 500 follows the top 500 stocks in the stock market, and if the stock market isn't doing good, it ain't doing good, right? So right now it's taking a hit, all right, and so that's why there's always a risk of losing your money, okay? But again, you have to plan, right? Okay, so one of my golden rules in planning is this. When I'm within a 15-year period of needing my money, okay, I now want to move that money. I want to get that out of this risky stuff, and I want to slide it into something that isn't risky, okay? So looking here, back to our same scenario, okay, that just with the $150, okay, a month, all right, with my $1,000 tax return in there. In 30 years, I have now accomplished what I would have accomplished with $500 a month. Okay, at the 4%. All right, now I bounce over. I go donate some plasma. In 30, I'm $1 million. So how many kids, if they're 24 years old, right, and you say, all right, when you are 54, you're going to have $1 million. Who's saying no? I hope nobody, right? I hope nobody. Okay. Now again, you got it. You know you can, if you watch it every day, no, right? You got to sit and you got to let it ride, and you let it ride till you are happy with the amount of money that you have, and then you move it to where the safety is, right? So now you move it, instead of a mutual fund invest in stocks, we slide it over to a mutual fund and invest in savings accounts, CDs, money markets. Yeah, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's investing. That's where we make money, right? And you know, and is it, you know, people say, oh, can you get 10%? The answer is, yeah, you can get 10%. Okay. You know, you just have to look for it. Okay. And, you know, and again, it's risky, right? And by risky, I mean you can lose your money. So you put money into it that you don't worry about, right? That you don't care, that you're going to blow anyway. All right. And so
planting seeds, Gary. You're planting seeds.
I hope we're planting some seeds here, right?
Yeah.
But that's like, you know, mutual funds is a topic in itself. You know, that again, it's not all that complicated. Okay. But if you don't know about it, then it looks really complicated, right?
Planting seeds, Gary.